All right, lesson 10.3, we're going to talk about dividing rational expressions today. So let's take a look at this example. Divide and simplify the quotient. Quotient is a fancy word for division problem. Okay? So, let's do it. Now, we just reviewed how to divide fractions. So what do you do with the first one? You keep it the same. What do you do to your division problem? You change it to multiplication, and then the second one we flip. Now it's just like yesterday's math. All we have to do is factor and cancel. So 12. 12 becomes 2 times 2 times 3. 14 becomes 2 times 7. 21 is 3 times 7. And 6 is 2 times 3. And then we're ready to start canceling stuff off. So 2 takes a 2. 7 takes a 7. 2 takes a 2. 3 takes a 3. And my final answer is 3. And that answers the question, how many 6/21s are in 12/14ths? Well, there's 3 of them in there. It's a weird abstract question, but it's a lot faster than doing like a pie chart and trying to figure it out. So, all right, so let's go ahead and do some algebra examples. Go ahead and write down number 1, please. So here we go. So just to kind of give you guys some steps here, we're going to do keep, change, flip, factor, cancel. That's it. Here we go. So let's do keep, change, flip first. So I'm going to keep that fraction exactly as it is. I'm going to change the division into multiplication, and we're going to flip that second fraction over. And now we're going to factor everything down. So let's do the top left term first. 5x to the 4th. That means I've got 5 with 4 x's, right? And on the bottom I've got 3, which can't be factored. And then 6 breaks down into, yeah, these are just monomials. So all we're doing is the factor tree to break these things apart. And 5x squared is 5xx. And then just cancel everything off that you possibly can. So starting down here on the bottom, we have a 3 takes a 3. 5 takes a 5. I've got 2 x's that can take 2 x's. And what I'm left with then on the top is 2 x's and a 2, which is 2x squared over nothing. So we don't need a 1 on the bottom, so you can just leave it like that. Okay. Now number 2, let's go ahead and write that down. That's going to be a little bit more challenging because they're not monomials, these are polynomials, and the factoring is a little bit different. So go ahead and write down 2. So here we go with number 2. All right, well, first of all, there's another weird thing about number 2. What is weird about number 2 here? Yeah, the second one doesn't have a bottom, but that's okay. We can always make a bottom by just putting it over 1. So that'll hopefully make it a little less confusing if you do that. And we're still going to flip that one, right? So it's going to be keep the first fraction exactly the same. So it's still going to be like this. Change the division to multiplication, and then flip that second fraction over. So now it's the reciprocal of c plus 1. It's 1 over c plus 1. And then after that, we factor. Now we've already established that we can't factor this one, and 1 doesn't factor either. We just need to break down this using our method for factoring trinomials. And we get c plus 3, c minus 1. A lot of times in your textbooks they won't put parentheses around these things. I do. It's kind of reminds me that it's one group. It's one factor. So now we're ready to start canceling stuff off. So let's see. A c plus 3 takes a c plus 3. And a c minus 1 doesn't cancel with a c plus 1, does it? So
what we're left with then is on the top 1 times c minus 1. We can just put c minus 1 because if you multiply something by 1, it's just itself, right? And the bottom is c plus 1. So there you go. Now sometimes the question comes up, guys, what happens when everything cancels out? What's the answer if everything cancels out? You would be really tempted to put 0, but it's 1. Because what that's saying when everything cancels out, everything on the top divides evenly into the bottom. And so if that's the case, what do you get when you divide something by itself? It's 1, right? So let's go ahead and have you guys try one. There you go. Okay, guys, so if you didn't get this answer, talk to somebody, and we'll go over it in a moment.